Well, it's a good win for us. I mean, we have to secure home ice. Like, we have to understand that here's a place where we got to play really well. It's tough in this league to play on the road the second half. So I was happy that I thought we got better as the game wore on. Like, that was the encouraging part. But they're obviously a very good team. Have been a good team the last couple of years in our division, or we switched divisions, but originally a couple of years ago. But they're a good hockey team and prideful. They don't want to lose their spot where they're used to playing at within the division. So it was a good win for us, and, we'll just take it and move on.
They're the number one power play team with quite a wide margin. How did you manage to do that? What did you like?
Well, I liked our effort. We've struggled in this. We were 1-2 going in the game against them, so we've gotten beat twice there and pretty handily in two of those games. And basically, their power play has been lethal against us, but it's been lethal against the league. So what was the difference tonight? Sometimes it's just goaltending, sometimes a little bit of puck luck. I thought strategically we were a little better, and the biggest thing that happened that hasn't been happening against Texas is we got our exits. We got pucks out. And if you don't do that against that particular group, whether they put out their first or second group, you're in trouble. And even in the pre-scout, watching them against other teams, like teams that didn't get their exits, they scored all the time on them. So it's really important you get your clears and get them down the ice, and you can get good, crisp line changes, and you can always keep a fresh group out there, because once you're in the zone against them, you're going to be in there for a little bit. It's not like they're going to give up the puck. They're not one-and-done type team. So a little bit of puck luck, a little bit of work, a little bit of strategic, and that's the way it worked.
Sven, he's on a bit of a point streak now.
Yeah.
But it felt like tonight maybe a little bit of a break of being on the point streak before the shootout win. He was very conspicuous in games tonight. I mean, what have you noticed about his game lately? I mean, maybe in contrast to when he came down.
I think he's just at that point in life, like he's getting to that point really down here right now where it's just time to make hay. It's just time to make hay. And you see different guys that have been here longer, like Nider's been coming on, and certain players. Like, you have a very small window. People like to always be patient and wait for opportunities. Sometimes your opportunity in life is really small. It's just the way it works for all of us. And when your opportunity's there, you got to capitalize and go for it. Today's kids, the new millenniums, like, they like to be patient, say there's another tomorrow. And it's not the way this business works. So I think what Sven's doing is he's starting to understand that this is a small window, and I've got to get going a little bit. And, there's some resiliency in his game. There's a little bit of swagger in his step, and there's a little bit of confidence. But I also think comes to a point where every player down here in the American League has to have the ability to say, that's enough. That's enough. It's time for me to step forward. This is my time. And I think that's kind of happening in Sven within his own interpersonal life. Like, I think it's coming to that. Not to say we're disappointed in how he's been all year down here since he's been here. It's just getting to that, I think, in general, like, as a professional athlete. Like, I got to start to make some hay. And it's also helped, like, to be quite honest with you, it's helped to have Corey. Corey's given him confidence. You bring Corey in here and you look at development a whole different way. It's not like Sven's out there with Granlund and Reinhart and there's one second-year guy and two first-year guys trying to figure it out. When you put a 10-year vet with basically a second-year player in Sven, that makes a big difference. So Corey's been instrumental too.
Olivier Waugh obviously had his best game since joining your club. Talk about his game, the overtime performance, and just sort of what Calgary's going to like about him after this weekend.
Well, what they should like about him is just his competitiveness and his quickness. You got to like and respect his quickness in the net. You got to really like his competitiveness, his demeanor. So that's the things that they would like about him. He's not a prototypical pro goalie right now in any NHL organization. He's small. Most goalies are really big. We can see the other guy on the other end, like he stood like a couple of crossbars above that one down there. So he's not typically by standard that guy, but he battles. He's quick. And I think he makes really good reads. Like, I really like his feel for the game. Like, has guys approach him and make saves. Even if you go back to the game against Charlotte, that pad save he made late in the game to keep the game in our favor. Like, that was a reaction save where he made a really good read. He knew that Terry was a one-timer over there, and he still got over there and made the save. So loved his competitiveness tonight. He fought and battled and clawed, and I'm sure Calgary's excited. I didn't hear from him yet, but I'm sure they're excited. But we're all excited for him, and I think the guys are playing hard for him and excited for him. Well, they'll both be definitely here for game time. The staff has to make a decision whether we play Orts or not. To be quite honest with you. Is it his net? Technically it is his net, but Wazzy's kind of going right now, so we've got to make some decisions there. Breen will play. If everything works out and he's here on time, Breen will go back in. We have to get Chris playing in the system so that if he's called upon over the, at the post-Olympic break, he's got a bunch of games under his belt. So we'll look to utilize both of those guys tomorrow if appropriate. But for sure, Breen, unless something happens.
With all the firepower in Texas as well, just how did you like your defenseman in particular against that?
Well, I thought we did a nice job. I thought a good percentage of this game was like watching a college basketball game. It was either on one side of the ice or it was on the other. It wasn't in the middle of the ice very often. Like it was like half-court offense. Basically, when they got it in our end, they managed the puck pretty well and did some good things. And I thought likewise when we got it in their end, we did some good things and held it down in there. The neutral zone really wasn't that much of a factor in the game, except maybe on the first goal where Billin stepped up there and they went around him on a, what do I call, forecheck neutral zone. But they went around him and they went and scored the first goal of the game. Otherwise, after that, it was either there or it was down there the whole time. So that said, I would say our D handled themselves very well. Like, I liked our posture. I thought we competed around our crease really hard. They didn't get a lot of great second looks like they have in some of the other games we played them down in Texas. So between our D and our low forward, which is mainly our centerman, I thought they did a nice job overall.
Do you ever see linesmen take longer than that to get the puck down?
No, we just had some disagreements with that tonight, but that's they're growing too. That's all I can say. Like, they're growing up too, and although we've had these guys here before in a long time, but many a times in here, and it's just interesting at ice level. It's really, really competitive. like people don't realize how competitive it is at ice level, and the verbiage and the it's like every guy lucky they got a mouthpiece because they grit their teeth. Like, it's intense, and I don't know what it's like up above. So I can just tell you at ice level, like, when the puck isn't dropped well or there's an offsides that's questionable, it's game on. Like, the linesmen don't like to be told certain things, and players don't like to be told certain things back. And I got into it tonight with the linesmen a little bit. Like, it's just a competitive game and one that we enjoy competing, and so we just managed through it. But I thought in the end, the linesmen did a nice job of communicating with our players. There was no hostility towards the end, and I thought likewise our guys were better to them down the stretch. Because they're trying to grow too. That's what they're here for. It's the American Hockey League for them as well. It's development.
It was the right call tonight, face off.
Yeah, it was the right call. And that's the one that they can call. That's the one that they can call. And Iverson came over and I asked him. He said, "Yep, we all had it. More than that linesman had it. So it's the right call. Unfortunately, that's just a learning curve for Corbin."
The Olympic break, is there any chance of any other players?
No, these would be the only two. No, the only guy that really could have said technically might have been able to drop down if somebody wanted to make an argument would be Paul Byron. But, considering the amount of time that he's spent up there since he's been there, his size, getting him some rest down the stretch drive, like, they decided to keep him up there, which I thought was very appropriate. All right, thanks.